gente? Ish here to tell you about this episode's sponsor, Podcorn. No, it's not a popcorn subscription service. Popcorn is a marketplace connecting podcasters with amazing podcast sponsorship opportunities, from host-read ads to show integrations to, other creative sponsorships. Lo que te puedes imaginar. The best part, though, no middleman. You browse and choose the opportunity that best syncs with your show. Send a proposal, set your own rates, and collaborate one-on-one with brands across multiple categories that are looking to expand their presence in podcasts. Mira, Pero Let Me Tell You has used Podcorn this year, and it is super easy to use. The entire process, from submitting a proposal to spot approval to payment, was absolutely seamless and, more importantly, stress-free. Plus, keeping everything in Podcorn's dashboard streamlines all communication, so there's no question about what was negotiated. Vaya, después no tienes ningún tiki-tiki ni nada de eso. Así que if you have a podcast, which we know some of our listeners do, visit this episode's sponsor, Podcorn, at podcorn.com/podcasters and start monetizing your podcast today.
Hi, people. This is DJ.
This is Ish.
And this is
Season
3
3
of Pero Let Me Tell You. So, you know that I was watching on CBS Sunday Morning the other day.
Aww.
Surprise, surprise.
Things are back to normal. Did they let Jen Pauley out?
No, they were interviewing Linda Lavin.
Aww.
And I didn't realize how many things Linda Lavin had been in.
Oh my God. I think she's on our show right now.
Right, but I always think of Linda Lavin, which is something we spoke about, I think, in like episode 1 or 2. That I don't know if it was Rick or Joe.
Joe's mom.
That was like, that Linda Lavin woman won't shut.
It's like, that woman is singing again.
Because they really talked about her musical career. So then I thought about him, what you said about,
That's what I think of when I think of Linda Lavin from Alice. I think of Joe's late mother.
That woman won't shut up.
She's like, there she goes again. That woman singing or whatever.
But it's Linda Lavin. She's so like...
she's not a bad singer, but she does have a very distinct voice.
And those of you, look up Linda Lavin.
Look up Linda Lavin.
She was huge in that show Alice in the 80s. Yes. And with that in mind, welcome to episode 121, everyone.
Yes, welcome.
Episode 121.
Good
Here we
golly.
are. So how is everybody? Pero Friday. Pero happy Friday.
Probably a little wet.
Oh yeah, it's monsoon season.
It's monsoon season. Yeah, my birthday rolls around and it's tropical storm season.
Should I do my lluvia medley? Lluvia cae lentamente sobre mí. What was the other? No. What was So I had this medley when we were in high school where I would sing songs with the word rain.
It was Alanis Morissette's Ironic, Madonna's Rain. I think it's Frankie Negron, Lluvia.
Yeah. It's like rain on your wedding day.
Iglesias.
It's like rain. No, Madonna's was...
You would start with Lluvia. Tu beso frío como la lluvia. No, tu beso frío como like rain. Feel it on my fingertips.
Feel it on my fingertips. Your love's coming down like lluvia. Tu beso frío como la lluvia. That was my precipitation medley.
Ooh,
so we have a birthday this weekend.
Yes, so we do.
Happy birthday. 25 has never looked better.
I know. Listen, that's okay. Because con esta capa, if I'm 25, estoy mal.
We knew people who were going bald in high school. Like there's guys that like in high school start having major entradas and gray hair.
That's true. But
it's genetic.
But I'm okay being my age.
You're okay being your age?
Being my age.
So
I look good for my age.
So okay, so do we? This is a more serious question, and listeners out there, what do you think about this? So, in this age where we're all about body positivity and all that stuff, is it about being the best version of yourself at whatever age you're at, or is it about still wanting to look younger and feel younger and be younger?
Are we talking on a personal note or like
just your philosophy
culturally?
On it? It's your birthday.
Oh, I get to have opinions now with a capital O. I think it's just about what makes you feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. Like I know what weight I feel comfortable at. I know, like even just
Screw that BMI.
No, yeah, the BMI is a bullshit.
I'm 6'1". According to BMI, I should weigh like 175 pounds.
Right, you would look like a giant bobblehead.
Yes, I'd be like,
Especially
I'm
with
like
your head.
seriously, I'd be anorexic. Like,
And then some.
Because at 225, 230, I'm like super
you're
thin.
yeah.
Like I'm a size 34, you know?
Right.
Like,
No. Nay. But I think it's that. It's just, you gotta feel comfortable in your own skin and whatever that is. Now, obviously within the range of being healthy, it's like, I feel comfortable being 900 pounds. Well, yes, but your heart would disagree with you.
Right.
I don't want to, I don't want a starring role in a TLC.
But the thing
docuseries.
is, for you, is it important? And when I mean you, I mean, like people in general, like everybody has a different take on it. Do you want to look younger or do you want to look your age? And we don't have to say the age, but your age.
I don't want to look younger because I feel that a lot of times people, once you hit a certain age and you try to look younger, what you actually wind up looking is older. Because now you're looking like an older person trying to look young.
Okay.
Generally speaking, I like, look, if you want to go and get Botox and do all that other stuff, knock yourself out if it makes you happy. But I just feel like, also, I'm not going to lie, my family has great genes. We age very gracefully. Mm-hmm. So, you see my father.
Your dad especially.
My dad's going to be 70 next year. And,
Your dad has a great body for
he does.
Yeah,
age.
But your dad was also like an athlete. He was...
My dad still goes to the gym.
Yeah.
My mom now goes to the gym. It's maintenance is what it is. Like, I don't want to look... If by some miracle of God I woke up tomorrow and I looked 25, I wouldn't be mad.
Well, no, because the reason I ask is because, like, for example, we're not old, but for example, somebody our age already could be like, well, I'm gonna get Botox, and I'm gonna get hair implants.
Start now so that it doesn't notice.
Right, hair plugs, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. Like, for example, I have no interest in the Real Housewives. No interest in them. But the other day, I don't know how I fell into an Instagram rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about Kim.
Kim Zolciak, the one from Atlanta,
the
blonde one.
Don't be tardy for the party.
Yes, her.
Yeah.
She's only 42, so she's
about our age.
So yeah, ella no es una vieja. She's still young, and she looks like a 65-year-old woman who has spent $500,000 on plastic surgery.
But that's what I mean.
That's
what
I
mean by
everything about her is fake. Her hair is fake. Her eyes are done. Her nose, everything about her, it looks done. Her boobs and all that. Look, if that makes her happy,
knock yourself out.
Who are we to say what makes you happy? But it's like, she's not kidding. Like,
but that's where I'm coming from when I said, I think sometimes when you try to look younger,
although with her, it's not even that she looks younger. It's that she just doesn't look natural.
Well, but those things are done in an attempt to stop the aging process, quote unquote.
Right. But she doesn't look 25. She doesn't even look 42. She looks 60 who has
trying to look 40.
Like trying to look 40.
Right.
She just doesn't there's nothing real about her. Like
right.
And I guess if you're into that,
I
was
gonna say, what about you? How do you feel?
To me, for example, I don't like gray hair.
Whereas I embrace it.
I don't like it, and I'm gonna fight the gray until I give in.
Your hair hasn't been its natural color since we were 12. Why start now?
You have to tell all the secrets. I don't like gray hair, and it's not even about looking younger. I just don't care for gray. I know a lot of men like gray, a lot of women like gray on men. A lot of people are going for that distinguished look. I think you have the rest of your life to look distinguished. I'm gonna fight it as long as I can.
Is there an age where you'll just give up?
Maybe by the time I'm 50, I'll be like, okay, I give up.
Okay.
Because, like, for example, my father just turned 77 this week. Well, you just saw him a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
My father knows that at 77 he's not gonna have a full dark brown beard and a full
he's not gonna be like
he uses this shampoo that makes his gray less apparent. And I think it looks natural.
Actually, it's funny because my father uses that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as much gray as my father has, he does things like that.
Right.
Like it's not about, but that's just because he feels comfortable doing it again.
Like I recently, and this is something that I hadn't thought about, again, it's not that we're old, but recently I started thinking about skincare. I'm like, you know what?
Me too.
I'm like, and
we never did.
Now with men, there's all this line of like endless skincare and stuff like that. Because again, to me, it's about looking the best version of yourself.
Yes.
Although with that said, I do like to maintain certain youthful elements, whether it's in the way I dress.
I was gonna say because youthful, you can convey that with your personality, which I think I do.
Well, yeah, but also in certain things you dress, because look, there's
but I'm including dress in personality.
look, there's
like,
people that there's guys, obviously we could speak on behalf of men. There's guys that at 35 they're already dressing from Brooks Brothers. You know?
They're just like, I'm married, I have 2 kids. This is my
done.
That's it. That's it.
Like
Khakis.
Walmart apparel,
Khakis day and night.
and white New Balance shoes.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I'm done. And like that will never be me. Like I think I get a little more out there as I grow older.
Listen, you will know I have officially reached old age when I stop wearing tank tops.
Yeah. Oh my. But then again, so I think it depends. I think it's about looking the best version of yourself. Okay, oye, how many people do we know from high school? And I'm sure listeners out there, the same goes for people that from high school, that we look at them and I'm like, coño,
we're the same age.
We're the same age.
Yeah,
like, what the hell happened to you?
I was like...
And then, of course, there's Christy Brinkley.
Listen, I don't know where she has that painting hanging.
I think that when Christy Brinkley was born, the devil showed up and goes, we're making a pact. And you're signing here, and you will look forever youthful. Because the thing about her,
unfortunately, you know who was the casualty in that exchange?
Her daughter.
Her daughter with Billy Joel.
Yeah,
because her daughter looks like Billy Joel, not like Christy Brinkley.
Right. You're right. That's right. Like, I don't want to be offensive.
I mean, I'm not saying that she's ugly, but I'm just saying, like, Christy Brinkley and Billy Joel do not look the same.
Right. And Christy Brinkley, like, when she comes out on TV in a bikini at like 65.
65? Christy Brinkley's got to be close to 70.
It's like, but she still looks youthful. I'm like, what the hell did you do? So, whatever. Anyway.
It's that exercise machine thing that she uses.
Actually, now, something I wanted to, bring up on this week's podcast, because it's just been going on for a few weeks now, and I feel it's not dying down, is the whole thing with Ellen.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up as well.
I feel it's getting more and more momentum. Like, my parents are asking me about Ellen because it's all over Spanish media.
Is that
like
because you and I went to the Warner Brothers lot once? So now you're the authority.
Spanish media, I mean, like, in Spain, because my parents love Antena 3. So what do we think about this whole Ellen thing? And I'm going to tell you about when you're done.
Well, let's recap for the listeners what the Ellen thing is.
The Ellen thing. Yes. In case you've been under a rock.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a lot going on lately.
So, for a while now,
yeah,
one of the first times, and this was maybe like a year ago, that I heard somebody say something negative about her was, I forget her name now, so I pardon, but it's the trans girl who has a beauty channel. And she had it for years. And she had it for years, and she had never come out as a trans woman, or she's really young, or a trans young woman. Mm-hmm. She had never come out. I don't know. And she was being blackmailed that they were going to expose her or whatever.
Okay. I remember the story, but I don't remember the person.
So she came out.
On Ellen.
She came out
as
on
trans.
Her own. As trans on her own, on her own YouTube channel. And then Ellen invited her on the show. And they had a very nice interview where Ellen was like, and then she later said, in a very kind of decent way, she wasn't trashing Ellen, that she thought that Ellen would have been a little bit, not that Ellen was mean to her, but that Ellen was very very business, like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Right. Okay, whatever.
This is what we're going to talk about, and
and on her way. Right. That she just saw that Ellen, because Ellen was like the first person to come out on, one of the first pioneers to come out on television, that she would have been a little bit more warm to her. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was the first time that I'm like...
But that could be chalked up to somebody making la ilusión in their head.
Right.
Of what the experience was going to be like.
So then, now in the last few months, a lot of people have come out that worked with her, saying that it's a toxic work environment, that, from racial insensitivity to
sexual harassment,
right. A plethora of things.
Everything.
From what I have read... Nothing has been on her against her personally.
Again, correct. Based on
until
today,
right? But it's an argument that it's
it starts from the top.
The top, she should have been looking at.
She's held responsible, as the boss.
So imagine it as she is the CEO of that company, right? Now, Also, there have been other things that, like, when the whole coronavirus thing happened, her show went into hiatus, like many shows did. There were a lot of people who worked for her who didn't get proper compensation, but it was a little bit more complicated because those people work for unions.
Yeah, but she wound up hiring an outside company to do the shows from her her house.
Because I think they were in a union and they couldn't work because of the union.
Pero bueno.
One of those things. So there's been a bit of back and forth. So what do we think about this?
So I'm of two minds of it, right? Where, like, I think on the one end, you know what? Yes, the buck stops with her. It has to, right? Because her name is on the show. You know what I mean? It's not even que tú diga, bueno, it's the Tonight Show with fulano, right? Like, que tú diga, bueno, I just work here. You know, it's not my show per se. Like, no. It's the Ellen Show. Mm-hmm. With that said, I understand when people say things like that, but the fact of the matter is, and I would say this for any CEO, you know, who's put into a position like this, if you genuinely think that a machine, because let's call the talk show what it is, it's a machine, okay? Mm-hmm. That has the talk show, that has the YouTube channel, that has, you know, she has her line of products at Bed Bath and Beyond.
She's a brand.
She's a brand. When you have, that's why I said a machine, right? When you have that type of a machine that you are relying on people, at a certain point, you know what? I really can believe that you lose the thread. Mm-hmm. You know, mira, like if right now somebody was to come on our little dog and pony show and be like, oh, they were horrible to me, which has never happened. It's only you and me. You know what? There's no middleman. There's no nothing. Pero if from here to, 10 years from now, we're this huge, corporation or brand, as you said, and we hire people, yeah, we have to touch base with them. But if I touch base with, let's say we hire a booking agent. Mm-hmm. And every time that I touch base with them, oh, everything's fine. And you're that buffer and I don't hear anything else. How much liability do I have? You know what I mean? Because if I'm asking the right questions, you're giving me the answer you think I want to hear.
I mean, look, obviously...
And also we know... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we also know that there are a lot of people, because actually, we've dealt with this. At this point, we've dealt with it too, where it's like, you're not dealing with the person at the top. You're not dealing with the celebrity. You're not dealing with the name. You're dealing with the representation. How many times don't we hear that it's like, oh, so-and-so needs, green M&Ms and blah, 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 all this laundry.
We have actually heard that for our guests.
This whole like laundry.
We've actually gotten a writer.
We've got a writer. And it's like, I genuinely do not believe it is the person making those requests.
Right. My whole thing with the whole Ellen thing is selective outrage. And you know how bothered I get about selective outrage, Right. Oh, R. Kelly is a rapist. He's this horrible person because the documentary came out saying R. Kelly was horrible. I'm like, really? Because R. Kelly has been telling you who he is since he dated Aaliyah in 1995.
Married Aaliyah
in 1995. It's been clear as day.
There's no surprise.
There's no surprise. It wasn't a secret,
right.
And as I say, when he had that child pornography case against him and there was video of him peeing on the underage girls, right. People were stepping to the name of love,
Right. Nobody had a problem.
Now all of a sudden this documentary comes out, it's like, oh my God, kill R. Kelly.
Outrage.
It's been going on for a really long time that people have known that Ellen maybe behind the scenes was not the nicest person.
But the problem is that her persona is so the extreme of nice.
I understand the juxtaposition of that.
Even the slightest not niceness.
I understand that. That her image is happy. I'm gonna dance. We're gonna make you feel good.
If she's even having an off day.
And she's anything but that, right?
Right.
But this is not new. It's been going on for a while. I mean, I think Out Magazine like 2-3 years ago did this whole article on how people are saying that she was not nice.
Right.
Right? Okay. And let's say for 1 second that she's not. That she's a total bitch. Let's say for 1 second. Right? Ellen, at the end of the day, the Ellen Show is a product. The same way that a character goes to a set. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. If her show is to make you feel good and she delivers, to me, that's what's important at the end of the day. Now, if there are things going on, like sexual harassment and all that, okay, that needs to be addressed. We don't know how much she knew or didn't know. You know, what does she know and when does she know it? You know,
Right.
maybe as you say, she's a person on top of the, who's on the top of the food chain,
Yeah.
is very removed from it. Maybe she's not. We don't know.
Right.
But this whole thing now of attacking Ellen, of like people coming out to like, destroy Ellen, I think is crap. Because Ellen doesn't have to be. Ellen's job is to go to that show, make you laugh, make you feel warm and fuzzy, and call it a day.
Go about your day.
That is a day. Now, it would be great if like she was like that in real life.
Right.
But if she's not, then
wow.
she isn't. She is like a million people.
And I will say, I don't know if you saw, like, it's funny because, like, obviously celebrities are coming out now in support of her, but there's also some that are coming out
Yeah, Brad
against
Garrett
her.
and all that.
My issue with Brad Garrett coming out against her is like, si ella era tan hija de la gran puta. Oye, why did you go on her show 6 times?
Yeah, he went like 6 or 7 times.
Why? Porque bueno, a la primera you don't know. You show up. A la segunda. Oye, pero la cuarta y la quinta?
Right. And I've said this, and again, I don't want to downplay the allegations on in the workplace environment, because you shouldn't work in a hostile work environment,
right?
But these things, but now how people are approaching this, that's like off with her head.
But let me ask you something.
Cancel her.
Let me ask you something too, because you say you shouldn't work in a hostile work environment, and I agree. And I've been in work environments that weren't hostile, but were not preferable, shall we say, right? Do you think though that we're in a time and place right now where certain things that may just be happenstance or common in a work environment are seen as worse than they are? Like, in a work environment, let's say, sometimes, sometimes somebody's gonna yell at you. It sucks.
Right.
You know what I mean? But is that
But is that harassment?
Is that now harassment? Is that now verbal abuse? Is that now a toxic work environment?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because maybe you fucked up and they're just like, yo, what the fuck are you thinking?
Right.
My God, because they're pissed in that moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is there a better way to handle it?
But
yes.
That's why I say, I could be wrong. Maybe something will come out later that Ellen was hitting people with a bat, and Ellen was grabbing and groping people, and Ellen,
left and right, she was a horrible human being. Yeah.
But from what I have read, everything has been about
the staff.
Right. Not about her.
Right.
Okay, she was a lousy boss. Okay, maybe she should have been on top of it. We can make all these arguments. Right? And maybe this should be addressed.
It's true. Right.
And she should have, you need to sit down with her and see how you're going to fix this. Right. But this whole cancel culture of now canceling Ellen is crap, because Ellen's show is hilarious.
She's been on the air for like almost 20 years, right? Yeah.
15 years. I watch Ellen's show every day, and I'm not saying this because I'm a fan of her show. I would say this about somebody else.
Right.
Her show is funny, which is what it's supposed to do. It makes you feel good. Her whole show helps out a lot of people. And what I tell a lot of times when people, and this really upsets me, when a lot of like LGBT activists, feel that she's not,
she's not enough
vocal
of a lesbian.
enough. I'm like, listen, this woman is who she is. She is out. She is very open about her relationship with Portia. They're always talking about it.
Right.
She's a lesbian. She's very, vocal about it. And she's into millions of people's homes every single day, and they love her.
And they embrace her.
So I
want?
see that as progress. She doesn't have to have a pride flag. She doesn't have to be marching. That is her way of doing what it is that she wants to do. So why are you attacking the woman? That's like when, the whole thing with George Bush happened.
Right.
She wants, because she sat next to George Bush.
But it's the same argument that they make of, because you are watering yourself down to fit, heteronormative, and I hate that fucking term, perception of what a gay person should be, so you can fit into their, world of the wife and the kids and the this and the that. And it's like, no, but if that's who I am, like, then what? So wait. So basically what you're telling me is I'm not gay enough for you? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what? Please.
Do you want to watch me in bed, in her case, with her wife?
Yeah, give me a pamphlet. Give me a pamphlet.
Do you want to see a video of me having
sex? What do you want me to do?
What
do you want me to do?
Same-sex partner?
Right. Like, I don't understand.
I just, you know what? I just, whatever. This whole thing about her, and I keep reading on it. I'm like, is there something that I don't know? Is there something that I've missed? Because it's like full force against Ellen.
People are waiting for the smoking gun.
Yeah.
Is what's happening.
So I don't know. Maybe there is one. Maybe that's by the time our show airs.
Maybe by Friday.
So it is one. So
by the time Real Friday hits.
So anyway, so ¿qué me dices tú de la economía?
Well, you mentioned in last episode that it was like the worst it had been since the Great Depression.
I'm the worst person in the world to ask that question because, as you know, my job has actually done really well because of the pandemic. So, I mean, when you ask me, like, ¿Cómo va la economía? I'm like, we had one of the best quarters ever last quarter.
We had one of the best quarters ever last quarter.
So I'm not in a position to say that, you know. It's I'm trying to do my part, you know. I'm going out local restaurants, you know. When I order, I don't order like as much as I love Cheesecake Factory, but you know, I'll try to go to like the local mom and pops and you know, things like that.
La cosa está heavy.
There's no end in sight, is there?
I saw a Harvard economist talking about it, and he's like, actually, that's what he said. He's like, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel because you don't know how long this is going to take. He's from Harvard. You don't know how long this is going to take.
That's the thing, is that it's this indefinite period, and that's I think what kills people the most. Because so que tú me diga, listen, the vaccine will be here in January, and by February we'll be back to normal. It'll suck, pero bueno, la gente will be kind of like, bueno, okay, hasta enero.
Yeah.
But we don't know that.
Yeah.
So, you know, January could come and go and we could still be on the vuelta. I hope not, obviously. I mean, well, for selfish reasons too, because, I mean, you're self-employed. So, I mean, hey, chico, tú no puedes empezar a recoger gente for un class action COVID lawsuit.
Yeah, let's sue COVID.
Yeah. Tú no puedes
I heard
meterle
COVID,
un su a China o algo. I don't know.
COVID has deep pockets.
COVID. Listen, it's got that Corona money.
Well, you know what has not suffered during the coronavirus is like when a Publix is like.
Publix is kind of like my job. Yeah. It's untouchable. Like
Home Depot, man, Home Depot is full. Every time I go to Home Depot,
people are home. They have time for the projects. Oh, and also I think Charmin will be fine.
Is there still low?
No,
are we still on toilet paper?
We're not on a ration of toilet paper anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I just hope. I hope it gets better because, like, I think I said this in the podcast a couple of weeks ago. One of the things they did right now was that they extended the moratorium for evictions.
Is that national or is that on a state by state?
It's each state can extend it, but there's like a national standard, and then a state can extend it.
Okay, so like minimum wage, they have to
federally they extended it to September now, but the governor can extend it further if he wants.
Got it.
And
I don't have that problem porque los dos tenants míos tienen plan 8.
And I agree with the moratorium. I think there should be a moratorium. I mean, if people aren't working.
So I agree with the moratorium, but I do, and I'm not just speaking as a landlord because again, Section 8, so I'm fine. But I think that's something else. There has to be another layer, because if you're renting from me and you can't pay your rent, I get it and I sympathize with you, but the mortgage, you know what I mean?
Well, actually, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
I've had several people come to my office because we do evictions in my office.
Oh, okay.
I've had several people come to my office, and this one woman in particular, she has 3 tenants, and she's like, 2 of them have not paid me since March.
Right. And they're not being delinquent.
They haven't paid me, and I've talked to them, and they're not paying me. And what can I do? And I'm like, listen, I could do a 3-day letter and charge you, but that wouldn't be right because we can't do an eviction right now. And she's like, I live on Social Security. Like, she's retired. That is my income. What am I supposed to do? And I said, I'm really sorry.
She doesn't have these properties paid outright, I'm assuming.
She still owes money on them. I don't know if she still owes money on them, but the way that she presented it to me, that was her income.
Okay.
So whether she owes a mortgage or not, that was her income.
Got it.
So she started to cry. She's like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, but there's nothing that we can do. There's a moratorium. Yeah. So, you know, it goes to show like the complexities of this.
Even if let's say they do get evicted, what are the odds that you're going to find somebody to take over that rent? You might
not only that,
you might be in a worse
just
position.
a little FYI for people who got evicted. Eviction is usually the last resource you want, not only because as the landlord, you are going to be out the money for the eviction.
Yeah.
Plus, if you hire an attorney, although you could do an eviction yourself.
My dad's done it himself.
Yeah, but you still have to pay court fees and all that stuff.
Right. There's a cost.
Which are on you, and you still have to go to court and all that stuff. But the problem is that when you get a judgment against that person, how do you collect it?
You don't. I mean, realistically, because if they're not paying.
Right. So that's why I always tell people, do not go the route. I mean, if there's just no way that you can get that person out of there, then you're. But if they owe you 4, 5, 6 months rent, you're not getting that money back. Like,
no, at that point, I think it just becomes about getting them out of the house.
Right. No, but there's people who want that money because they need that money.
Ideally,
you're not getting it back. So, the reason I brought that up is because of the complexities of this. Right. I agree 100%. There should be a rent moratorium, but you have to also look at the other side. Now, if you're paying to a corporate company or like a rental community, that's a little bit different. But to like a private a private landlord, then you have to see the side, because a lot of people that, especially people that retire, because people can live on their retirement, that is their income.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
And there's nothing on the horizon on that end, is there?
It keeps getting extended.
No. Sorry, I mean from the bank side. Like if you can't make your payment for a property because
no, that's different. That's mortgage. If you're talking about like a mortgage, that's mortgage forbearance.
Or you can defer or something.
No, that's mortgage forbearance.
A
lot of lenders, which is a long conversation that we're not going to get into.
We won't get into it.
A lot of lenders did do a mortgage forbearance, but we're talking about like renters.
Oh, renters.
Like renters.
Okay.
So yes, if you are a landlord who has a mortgage on the property that you are renting, yes, you can probably ask for a forbearance. But again, a lot of people use this rent money as their income, especially if they're retired, because you can't live on retirement alone. Right?
Yeah,
So esta
not
mujer,
everybody.
esta mujer, she's like, no, lo que yo gano con la casita es lo que yo uso para vivir. And I'm like, well, yeah.
It
so
sucks.
It's just, it's a very complex issue that doesn't have, it doesn't have a black and white answer. It doesn't have like a concrete answer because, it's complex. So, hey everyone, this is DJ. How is everybody doing? Well, I have some great news for you guys. I'm here to tell you about Manscaped because let's face it, con el calor que hay, the last thing we want is to be bushy below the belt, right? And as you guys know, we've been telling you of how much we love Manscaped and their products. Their Lawnmower 3.0 has been a godsend when you live in Miami, the birthplace, of humidity, the center of humidity. And now they're helping us groom areas everyone can see too. The Shears 2.0 Nail Kit is the perfect add-on to their Perfect Package Hair Trimmer Kit. Manscaped Shears 2.0 Nail Kit has 4 stainless steel tools, slash-tipped tweezers, rounded point scissors, nail clippers, and a medium grit nail file. Come on, it's flip-flop seasons. Let those talents under control, guys, because you know how bad that could be. And you know that we're going to give you a promo code. So use our promo code BETO20 and it gets you 20% off and free shipping and handling. That's right, 20% off with code BETO20. Means you could get the Perfect Package 3.0 kit featuring the Lawnmower 3.0 and toss in the Shears 2.0 as well. Not enough savings? Está bien. For a limited time, if you subscribe for the Razor Replacement Plan, you can also get a free travel bag and their comfortable and chafe-reducing Manscaped boxer briefs, which, by the way, I use all the time and are awesome underwear. Bueno, a ver, 20% discount, free gifts, clean nails, and trimmed, you know what? Sounds like a hell of a bargain. So what are you waiting for, guys? Visit manscaped.com and use promo code PETO20 today.
Oh my god! Before
we do something else, I because I've been wanting to bring it up. Our hearts go out to the people of Lebanon, to Beirut. That
¿Qué pasó?
Explosion, it's just awful.
That looked like a mushroom cloud.
So,
I thought it was like a nuclear bomb.
So they haven't ruled out that it was not terrorism, although it doesn't
look like
it was terrorism. But what happened allegedly, because the reports are all over the place, right. What happened allegedly was that there was a fire or an explosion at a fireworks warehouse.
Oh, okay,
right?
Okay.
That's why there was so much footage of people's cell phone, because they were recording this the fire of the
building
of the explosions of the fireworks.
Oh,
that's why there's so much.
There's
so many. Well, no, it was a huge fire.
No,
but people were recording it,
right.
And that's why there's so many angles.
Yeah, I was
fire,
like, oye, mira que la gente estaban dándole video a this building.
But what happened was, allegedly at this point, was that the warehouse next to it was storing ammonium nitrate,
Imagínate
which
tú.
is very flammable. And of course, enormous amounts of it.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
had been there for years. So that's why apparently when the fire got to the ammonium nitrate, it blew up. I mean, that looked like an atomic bomb.
It looked like an atomic bomb.
It looked like an atomic bomb. So the first question everybody asks is like, whose idea was it, if it is this, to store ammonium nitrate in such a core urban center?
That's true.
Like,
Yeah, you're right.
but the point is,
That's beside the point, yeah.
Well, it's just an awful.
Do they have a death toll?
Right now, I think it's like in the hundreds, but that's gonna spike up.
Which, I mean, so far, considering that
but
explosion.
that's gonna spike up. And Beirut, I've always wanted to go to Beirut. Beirut, they call it the Paris of the Middle East. It's
okay.
absolutely stunning, beautiful city. Beirut has their nightlife. It rivals any. I mean, you've never
Really?
seen other nightlife.
No.
Oh my gosh, their nightlife rivals any city in Europe. They are also a destination for shopping. And just the city is beautiful. It's like on a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely stunning city I've always wanted to go to. But Beirut has a very kind of complicated history.
It's everything in that area.
It's been rebuilt like 6 or 7 times. And a lot of it has been just because of its location. Because it's kind of like a buffer zone
Sí, está en
between
medio.
the rest of the Middle East and even Europe.
Yeah.
And for example, they weren't part of the Syrian civil war, but most of the Syrian refugees went
there
through Lebanon.
Yeah.
So sometimes just geographically, they're stuck in the middle,
Yeah.
literally stuck in the middle
Literally, yeah.
of all this conflict. So, but hopefully no, because what happened. But our hearts go out to the people of Beirut because it was just
horrible.
just absolutely awful. But what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was gonna say something that was so lighthearted that I don't know
Well, let's
if
move
I
to
don't know if I
something
can
lighthearted.
follow it up after that. So
Whipped cream, Cool Whip.
no. So I was gonna tell you. So my almost 90-year-old grandmother will be 89 years old this year. Okay, just got a smartphone.
No. Did she get an Apple or an Android?
I don't know yet because the thing is that she got one of those free government phone
Abuela,
things.
sí, a track phone.
Okay, she had the flip phone.
Uh-huh.
The flip phone
With the huge numbers.
No, not even like one of the original ones. I think that thing was like almost for the Smithsonian.
She
So I
has a
should go.
Samsung egg.
Probably, actually, now I think about it. That thing I think still had that original little game on it. So whatever. Siempre andaba que esto no sirve. I can't hear. Blah blah blah. Whatever. And you know how old people are. Just you kind of nod and go like, sure. My mother was all like, gastarme $400, $500 en un teléfono que mami no va a saber usar. And I was like, well, that makes sense. So there's that government program where
Yeah.
if you qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you get the free phone, and you don't have to pay for the monthly service or whatever. So I will keep listeners updated on how this.
Oh my God, we should.
And how this ends
Abuela's Smartphone Chronicles.
Because my mother was saying que el primer día she couldn't get it open. Like she couldn't figure out the swipe. Like enough.
Does Jenny Lorenzo have a cell? We need to contact Jenny. Does she have an Abuela at the cell phone store series of videos?
That needs to be a thing.
Okay, Jenny Lorenzo.
If you're hearing this, Jenny, we're putting it out there. We're putting it out there.
We need to DM her. We need to call her ASAP.
But on the flip side, though, like I think it's nice because again, I know that's gonna drive all of us crazy. But like, I want to install like WhatsApp on her phone just so that we can do like FaceTime. So all she has to do is pick up.
I was gonna say, are you gonna get your grandmother into texting?
I just want her to be able to pick up so we can FaceTime with her. Because that's not... Look, I don't always get to her house as much as I'd like to and all that, right? But would you get your grandmother a smartphone at this point in time under those circumstances? Like my grandmother's, which is...
Bueno, my grandmother...
I need a new phone and
my grandmother's
it's free.
on the phone a lot.
But a smartphone.
No, not on the regular phone. The thing is that my grandmother's never had a phone.
Oh, she never had a cell phone.
No, she's never had a cell phone.
okay.
So there's no transition. This would be like...
Oh, this is deep into the pool.
Yeah. But, it's really funny. Like, for example, my mom and my aunt are a year apart.
Okay.
My mom still turns everything on by pressing every button until it turns on.
Like she walks up to the TV to push
Every
to turn the
button
power
until
button.
it turns on.
Right.
My mom, actually, I'm glad you brought this up. My mom had a smartphone and we had to get her a flip phone. Because with her, she
downgrade.
My mother hates technology. She's like, yo no soy de este tiempo. But she says that as like, you know.
Like she's a time traveler.
Yes, like, yo no soy de este tiempo. Yo esta tecnología no da recito. Whereas my aunt, who's only a year younger than her, my aunt can give tutorials on
She
how
probably knows how to do TikTok.
WhatsApp. And like one time I heard her say something like, no puede ser ese file, tiene que ser un JPEG. And I'm like, oh, look at this woman. She knows that you can,
Wow, she knows the file extensions.
You need to send a JPEG, you know?
Okay,
I'm
go
like,
on.
look at her, like, she knows.
Go on,
she's
Thea.
a whiz. She knows stuff about Facebook. I mean, I've never been big on Facebook,
Right,
but I know technology.
Right.
That I'm like, I didn't even know Facebook could do that. Like, I'm
Which, by the way, did you see that Instagram launched a TikTok equivalent?
I had been waiting for that to happen.
It launched it, I think it was today.
So
as we record this Reels.
Do you think that it can? Well, listen, Snapchat was conquering
the world.
IG, and IG quickly shot back.
That's why I think this could have the same
I
effect.
kept thinking that.
This will have the maybe not, but I think it will have the same effect.
The whole thing with TikTok, the whole thing about TikTok being owned by a Chinese company and the data and all that.
Yeah.
That is something to be concerned about.
It is, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to instill fear in people and all that.
But you should be aware.
Yeah. And data breaches. You know the thing with data breaches nowadays is that people are like, I have nothing to hide.
Nobody thinks about
I have nothing to hide. What do I have to hide and all that? Yeah, but when your personal pictures start appearing in places, or they know your like social security number and they know your bank account numbers, shit gets real.
Yeah, real fast.
I don't know. I'm very, I don't want to say susceptible to that, but I understand that maybe because I had my identity stolen.
That's true.
When I had my identity stolen. I had my identity stolen when I was about 22, 23 years old. I kept applying for credit cards and I kept getting denied. And I'm like, I hadn't thought about it. I'm like, why did I get denied for American Express? I pay all my bills on time and, whatever. Until one day they came to my job to repo my car. And the guy was like, he kept calling and I'm like, recovery? What's a recovery
what are you recovering?
company,
Yeah.
right? And until the man literally showed up at my job. He's like, yeah, I'm here to repo your car. And at that time, I had just bought maybe 3-4 weeks earlier an Acura. The TL, which
that's right, yes. That I dented with my damage causing ass.
And I remember I told the man, repo my car? I haven't even gotten my first bill yet. And he's like, yeah, your green Mitsubishi Montero. And I was like,
that is not the car
I was like, first of all, I would never buy a green car. Sorry to people who have green cars. A Mitsubishi Montero. I'm like, I have an Acura. And he's like, no, you don't. You have a Mitsubishi Montero. And then that's when I called Mitsubishi and I pulled my credit. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. But you know what, though?
How long did that take you to resolve?
Years. It took years. Because I had to dispute manually. Maybe now, this happened in like 2002, 2003. Maybe now there's an easier way. But I had to manually dispute each single credit entry, and mine were dozens. Like Jesus. It was like 50 different things on my credit report, because the people they racked up like $250,000 worth of debt. So that's why like I understand how like kind of violating that is. But the whole TikTok thing, China owns that shit. So,
and listen, as we know with all the COVID Corona stuff, they tell you what they want to tell you if they want to tell you how they want to tell you.
You know what the thing with China is, and I'm not gonna go on a tirade against China and all that. People have to remember that at the end of the day, and this is nothing against the people, we're talking about the government.
Right.
At the end of the day, China is a communist country.
Por eso digo.
Es un país comunista.
Por eso
es
digo,
rojo.
Ellos hacen lo que le da la gana y te dicen lo que te quieren decir.
That's why when they tell you, like when the coronavirus,
they're like, oh, it's better now.
Oh yeah, we have no new cases. I'm like, really? Yeah, you mean to tell me that in a country of 1.4 billion people,
you're done. You're done.
Not one person got coronavirus today. I'm like, mira, por favor, métele ese cuento a otra persona.
Sell that story to North Korea.
So, is it soda time? Are we thirsty?
We are thirsty. But before we go into thirst, can I just say one thing? Just one thing. Because I don't know if... Have you heard about something that was probably going to make you happy? Because it made me happy. But I don't want to get too happy yet.
Is it the Who's the Boss reboot?
Yes. The sequel? Yes.
Yes. Okay, let's have it as like a little teaser because Judith Light isn't in it yet.
Well, her and Danny Pintaro would be like recurring.
Okay,
not.
¿Qué está haciendo Danny Pintaro? Let's be little bitches here.
Well, maybe listen. Sometimes it's not about what Danny Pintaro is doing. Sometimes it's about people. What are they asking Danny Pintaro to do? Because he may have been the first one that would have been like, I'm totally available, and they would have been like, no, we'll let you know. We'll get back to you. I mean,
Okay, that's true. Listen, we love Alyssa Milano. We could start the Alyssa Milano fan club. We love Tony Danza, but they need Judith Light. They need, because I feel that Who's the Boss wasn't a big cast.
it was only 5 people.
It was only 5 people, and each person
Was
no.
but
Let's be nice to Jonathan.
no, but Jonathan did fulfill a role.
Because
I mean,
even like that show without Mona,
yeah, no, it's not the same.
it's
not the same.
You know,
That's the first thing I thought of though. The reboot, like, because the thing is that Sam, Alyssa Milano's character, is living in
The house.
And I was like, oh, they're gonna have a picture of Mona over the fireplace.
Yeah. Again, because it was a small, and the thing with that show is that even though the show lasted for 8 years, they didn't bring in new characters.
Maybe like twice.
But not.
Yeah,
they
but
didn't
not
bring in like
right.
like nobody was added to the cast.
That's true.
They tried to add that little kid.
That's the one time
that
didn't happen. Yeah, didn't
right.
take.
But it wasn't like Samantha Maselli got married, and she had kids, and now her husband became part of the cast, and
Right.
or whatever, and
Right.
or Jonathan got married. It was a very core.
I can't wait till they have the reunion episode with Leah Remini and Nicole Eggert.
That would be great.
So I just wanted to put that out there because that made me very happy.
Maybe they should have another Living Dolls
reunion
shot at it. So
bring back Halle Berry too.
So let's see. Let's cross our fingers that Judith.
Yes. So I just wanted to bring that up because that made me very happy this week.
It makes me very happy too. So soda time.
Yes.
Who are we leaving our sodas to?
So do you want to go first?
No,
do you want
you
me to
go
go
first.
first?
I
Okay.
always go first.
So I am actually I'm giving it. It's one of my more esoteric sodas, if you will. I'm giving my last soda to something that I didn't even realize was as young as it is. I am giving my last soda because this year marks the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
The 88? Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
That I mean, we are older than
Oh yeah.
because it just seems to me like such a thing.
Do you want to know an easy way of finding out? Think about this. I don't know if you ever thought about this. Anywhere that you go that's older construction, why do the ramps look so new compared to the building? Because
true.
the ADA didn't come in until and in 1990 it's when it passed. But when it passed, they had years before it was, they gave you a window because
Right.
A lot of places had to do construction and
Yeah, this
all that
wasn't a
stuff.
quick fix,
right?
yeah.
So it went well into the 90s.
But it boggled my mind that it's only 30 years old. Because again, like we've said here several times, it's like, I think there's always been a certain reverence or respect for people with disabilities. But it's funny to me, like not funny, haha, but that we defer to you. It's so horrible. You're in a wheelchair, but you don't need to go in that building. Yeah. It just seems so like counterintuitive to the initial sympathy that we always have for people with disabilities as a culture, shall we say. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that it was like the 30th anniversary, I'm like, shit, I'm gonna give it the last soda because I did not know it was so new.
And the ADA is something that, a lot of times, I think you mentioned it here not too long ago, you gave a last soda to what was it that had to do with like short
I don't know where you're
short
going with this.
people. That it was something we had never thought about.
Oh, to Zappos with the shoes.
Yes, yes, with the people who are.
Wow,
Yes, it's funny. I said something completely different, but what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Like that's something you never, as woke as we may think we are.
It's not part of our life, right?
It's not something we ever thought about. I'm like, yes, of course. If you are, missing a leg,
limb,
you don't.
Or if you have a prosthetic, it's a different size.
Right,
it's
like that's
different.
something that I hadn't.
Yeah.
And the thing with ADA is that a lot of people they had never really thought about it. How if you're in a wheelchair, how do you get to an elevator? How do you get up those stairs?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you fit into an elevator? How doors? From the sizes of doors.
It affects everything from where you can work to where you live to where you can go.
You want to know something really interesting? Our high school. I'm sorry, Riviera. was one of the
middle school?
first. Our middle school was one of the first schools built with doors and hallways wide enough to accommodate kids in wheelchairs.
Really? And
if
how
you
old is
think-
Riviera?
Riviera was probably built in the 50s.
Wow.
Yeah, because if you think about Riviera, where we went to middle school in, the halls were very wide.
That's true. I never stopped to think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
it was
hallways
one
were
of
really
it was
wide.
one of the first schools that was and other because I know like here in Miami Rockway is also looks just like Riviera, you know.
Yeah.
Like a lot it was I don't know if it was the first school, but it was among the first designs
Taking that into
of
account.
schools with kids in wheelchairs.
Oh. Well,
So yeah.
I learned something new today.
So my last soda, short and sweet, goes to O Magazine.
Oh, yes.
They put Breonna Taylor on the cover.
It's the first time now Oprah.
First time it's not Oprah on the cover, and I thought it was a genius thing to do.
We're going on, what, 150 some odd days?
I lost track.
And
nothing has happened with this.
They haven't even been brought in for, like, questioning
I
or
think
anything?
I think there was one guy that was like charged, but nothing has happened. Nothing. The point is, nothing has happened. Who needs to be
Nothing of
charged?
impact.
What hasn't been charged? I mean, again, they haven't even brought up charges against them. It's,
Right,
let
right.
alone trial or just charges, just
Right.
simple old
An investigation.
charges.
Yeah.
Nothing has happened, and this poor girl was murdered in her home. And that Breonna Taylor case, if you read the facts around it, that's not a case that has a gray area. That's not, because a lot of times people in these cases want to argue, well, but you weren't there and you didn't see this. This is not a case where you can even start to go down that route. Because everybody there messed up, from the person, who issued the warrant,
no-knock warrant.
the no-knock warrant, to the fact that the guy they were looking for didn't live there, to the fact that the guy they were looking for
Had
was
just been caught.
in custody.
Had, like,
he was
been caught,
in custody at the time that the warrant was issued. So it was just completely a systematic failure that ended in her death. So yeah, I thought it was important that they, she was such a big platform. Oh, Oprah is a platform.
I mean, you want to talk about a brand.
Right.
You want to talk about a brand. Yeah.
That she did that. So yeah. Well, that was episode 121. That was concise and packed.
I still want us to have a party.
We'll have a party. We'll have a party, baby.
I want a party. I feel like, damn it, we should celebrate things. I don't know. I get it. I understand. We have to be careful and all that, but I'm just.
When the sun is setting in the sky,
I'm-
everybody knows it's party time.
But I'm getting to that point where I'm just like, I just want to go back to normal. Like, I want to.
Party time.
Oye, Mimo, your parents were here. I didn't know if to hug them, salute them, send them.
Salute.
Yeah, like high five. I
It would have been kind of cool if you would have high-fived my mother.
and we would have like a secret handshake.
Yeah. Well, everybody, we hope you listened, laughed, and learned.
Yes.
Grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito. And that was episode 121. Have a great weekend, everybody. Pero Friday. Happy Friday.
Yes, cuídense, mi gente. Bye.
Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lamleplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.